Morning, everybody. Thank you very much indeed, and superb to be here and talking about unlocking the South's potential. I'm Peter Taylor, I'm the President of Hampshire Chamber of Commerce, and as I was sitting there listening to Alan and his great insights into Glenville, I read that. Bringing stakeholders together with a view to promoting and encouraging inward investment and development. And that is really, really important. And now is the time for the South. Of that, I have no doubt whatsoever. And this is the moment that we need to be building a really strong narrative for the area in which we live and in which we work. We hear an awful lot from the likes of Andy Street in the West Midlands. We hear an awful lot from the likes of Andy Burnham in Manchester. A lot of it's sense, but actually we have really got a strong story to tell here in the South, and I just want to take you through some of the aspects of it, if the tech will let me do that. There we go. So, strategic opportunities. For those of you who may have heard me speak before, I talk about the opportunities that we have here in the South, and we are strategically important for UK PLC, the nation, and indeed globally. Here in this very part of the country, we have Portsmouth, the home of the Royal Navy, and really appropriate that I'm up here on this stage today on the 11th of November as we remember those who have lost their lives in fighting for our freedoms and fighting for our opportunity to seize opportunities and to come together to do that. We've got the UK's hub of the sea, and when you're an island nation, for me that is hugely important. If any of you have heard Alistair Welsh, the port director in Southampton, talk, in his background with aviation, he talks about Heathrow being the UK's hub of the air, but actually where we are is the hub of the sea. And in Southampton you have got the largest multifunctional port in the nation, the biggest export port in the nation, the largest cruise terminal, turnaround cruise terminal in Europe. That's something for us to be mightily proud about. And we've got a whole host of other great assets and talents that reach out into not only the nation, but also to the world. We've got the airport, and hopefully before too long we'll start to see that airport being expanded even more than it is at the moment. We've got the universities. We've got the transport links, the motorways, the rail that comes right into the cities, both into Portsmouth and into Southampton. We've got world-class sporting venues, of which we're sitting in one right here, right now. And the retail offering, the high street, West Quay. People travel miles and miles to come to West Quay, travel miles and miles to go to Gun Wharf. There is a real pull into this area. Come on, don't let me down now. But we also have some challenges, and we can't forget the challenges. There's the levelling up agenda that we hear a lot about, and for me that's not a north-south issue, that's a place-based issue, and we've got areas of social deprivation in many of our cities, many of our communities right across the south. And the local authorities have only got a certain amount of bandwidth in which to deal with stuff. So they need the business community to come together and to support them in affecting change, and affecting change not only for our generation, our kids, but actually the future generations. Brexit has posed issues, posed challenges, and one can very easily fall into the trap, in my mind, of saying, oh, woe is I, everything is against us. But that's not, in my mind, the right mindset to adopt. Let's change what we can change. We're given a deck of cards, let's make the most of those deck of cards. So from Brexit, we started to have conversations around how can we help the UK, help the government achieve solutions, particularly in terms of reaching out into Europe when you started to see all the lorry parks over in Kent and on the East Coast. COVID has posed challenges, but actually, again, something good has comes out of that. We start to see the opportunities for hybrid working, and I know many of you in this room will be starting to think, and may have already worked through, how do we seize the best of those opportunities, both from allowing the flexibility of home working, but also making sure that we use office space, commercial space to best effect for the future. Talent, the search for talent. I was at an event yesterday and was hearing a business in the engineering sector that was saying it's really, really difficult for us to find the engineers of the future. But actually we have got these educational establishments here in the south, the universities, the further education colleges, City College in Southampton, the colleges over in Portsmouth and elsewhere in our region, who are providing some great stuff. And what is really exciting actually is the conversations that are now taking place between those educational establishments and the business community, so that those educational providers are actually delivering the skill sets that business needs. The business community, the Chamber of Commerce is starting to lead on these conversations as to exactly what skills are wanted for the future. So hopefully that business that is talking about engineering needs, actually their needs will be met before too long. Climate change, I'll come to more to climate change a little bit later on, but again, that must be seen as an opportunity for us to grab and seize the solutions rather than say, oh, woe is I, we can't do anything about it. City of Culture, I can't stand here and not talk about the City of Culture bid for Southampton. And as you all know, they are into the final 8. But this isn't just about Southampton. This is about the region. And it explains why Portsmouth, Winchester, Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole are all getting behind the bid for Southampton's City of Culture 2025. Because the ripple effect from such an award will be massive. And in my mind, even if, heaven help us, Southampton is not successful in getting City of Culture 2025, actually we have started a journey for the city, for the region, which again is a force for good. Why is it so important? Well, one only has to look at the impact that Hull has benefited from in 2017. Coventry's benefiting it from it right now, their City of Culture 2021. But the increase in the number of visitors, the increase in GVA for Hull and Hull's region, everybody was starting to get involved in activities in Hull, and that feel-good factor was making a significant difference. It put Hull very much on the map. I think in the past, when people have thought about Hull, they haven't really thought of it in particularly great light, but that there is a mind shift that is, apologies to anybody who does come from Hull, because I'm sensing a smirk at the back of the room. But I think it is a much better place, and hopefully those of you who have come from Hull would say, yeah, it is a stronger place. We've got Solent Freeport. That again creates the opportunity for us to affect change for future generations. There is work going on at the moment. I know there's conversations that are going on between the Solent Freeport leaders down here and government in order to try and make sure that the framework is as it should be, the tax sites are as they should be. But what is the benefit for us? It's creating a stronger manufacturing base within the Freeport area, bringing the benefits of the research and development that we know that we've got those skills in our universities and commercializing them, attracting jobs into the Freeport area. It's not a case of shifting business from outside a free port into a free port, it's actually attracting inward investment. And that narrative is building. And I know it's building because of the conversations I'm having, not only with organisations from right across the country, but actually other nations. So over the course of the last 3 months, I have had conversations with representatives from 4 different nations who are looking at the strategic opportunities to have a base here in the central south of England, which gives them a route into the UK, gives them a route into Northern Europe, and gives them a route over into America. That's a pretty compelling story for us to be able to continue to build together as a business community. Climate change, sustainability and maritime, it goes without saying we need to be playing our part in affecting change. It is being forced on us, quite rightly so, I think, as businesses through supply chains. So for me as leading a law firm, we are being asked questions about how we're measuring our carbon footprint. It's not, have you got a policy to reduce carbon? Actually, it's how you're measuring it. And I'm seeing more and more businesses looking at not only doing the right thing in the way that they should, but actually being forced to do so for their own supply chains. So businesses will break long-established relationships, I'm sure of it.
For those that are in the room, we're going to do a 2-minute silence at 11 o'clock, which is literally in 1 minute. So if we can just show our respects. Thank you. Sorry, Peter.
I agree with that entirely. Coming from a naval family, I think that's entirely appropriate. We'll do it now.
Your 2-minute silence for Remembrance Day starts now. Thank you for those that showed respect, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. So, I think that having paused for that 2 minutes, actually it gives us a chance to reflect on the importance of pulling together, as they did in those battles, those wars of the past, and collaborating. I mean, as I said, we've got lots going for us in this region. PwC at the beginning of this year produced a report about good growth for cities, and Southampton was ranked third nationally. Just out of interest, the other two, top two were Reading and Oxford. But say Southampton third nationally is a great thing to be able to have going in our favour. And the Chamber of Commerce, we had an event and we talked about, try to understand the sense of ambition across businesses who attended that event, and there were over 180. And the ambition was that we should create a region which was thriving and a global destination. And people were prepared to lean in and do more to make sure that that came to effect. That stakeholder engagement piece is happening, has been happening. I think in the past, and I make no bones about this, I think egos may have got in the way to a certain extent. But those egos actually are now falling away, and the collaborative spirit is coming through loud and strong. And I think if we can keep that collaborative spirit going, then that will stand us in good stead for the future. So for a Chamber of Commerce, the Hampshire Chamber of Commerce, it's got a very clear sense of purpose, and that is to be the voice of business for Hampshire, to help businesses connect, you're connected here now, and to help them grow. And I think if each business goes out and talks individually and tries to create a message, they become maybe a lone voice. But actually, if you all come together under one banner, it's a bit like having a choir. You can make one hell of a noise and a really compelling message as one voice. And certainly I'm working with the other stakeholders to ensure that we do have that one common voice across the South that responds, attracts government interest, and attracts that inward investment not only nationally but internationally, and it will reap its rewards. So as was said in a song back in the 1970s by I think Jimmy James and the Vagabonds, now is the time to set things right and to come together, be united, seize these opportunities, look at the challenges as opportunities for solutions. As a business community, we can and we will affect change. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Peter. Do we have any questions before we move on to the next speaker?
No question is a bad question, so ask me anything.
No?
Stunned silence.
Right.
Oh, hang on, I've got one.
Sorry, thanks.
Hello, yeah. In terms of coming together, what sort of bodies are out there already that are doing that, and how can we get involved?
So the obvious thing in terms of how do you get involved, I'm very happy to share the details of the Chamber of Commerce and the membership and how you can join the Chamber of Commerce. But the other organisations that I'm talking to are obviously the LEPs, Regenerate South, Business South, Federation of Small Businesses. They've all got their own roles, but in terms of being a voice for business in Hampshire, my job, I see my role as the president of the Hampshire Chamber of Commerce is very much being the ambassador and helping to pull people together and have that common voice. So yeah, I can share with Lucy and make sure that every delegate here gets the details as to how to become part of the Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, it'd be great to have all of you would be brilliant as members of the Chamber because we will make a big noise and affect change.
So thank you ever so much. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm just going to make an announcement to see if anybody else wants to come in for their next talk, because we do have Jack up for the residential update. So I'm just going to go and speak to everyone outside. So just bear with me a second.